Raise the rest of your life to meet you. Don't search for defining moments because they will never come. The world might say you are not allowed to yet. I waited a long time out in the world before I gave myself permission to fail. Please don't even bother asking. Don't bother telling the world you are ready. Show it. Do it. What did Beckett say? Ever tried, ever failed. No matter. Try again. Fail better.
Let's talk about freedom. Not the grand philosophical kind, but the raw, unpolished freedom you were born with. Picture a toddler. They don't scribble "may I" on construction paper before finger painting the walls. They don't draft a proposal before testing gravity with your favorite mug. To a child, wanting is doing. Life is a series of experiments, unburdened by hesitation or apology. But then, slowly, the world teaches us to fold our hands in our laps and ask nicely. We learn to wait, to doubt, to shrink our desires into something manageable, something others might approve of, and somewhere along the way, we forget that permission was never the point. Here's the twist. Growing up doesn't have to mean giving up. Sure, adulthood comes with responsibilities. You can't exactly yank a stranger's ponytail to see what happens, though the curiosity might linger. But the real tragedy isn't that we stop licking carpets. It's that we stop trusting ourselves. We swap the boldness of childhood for a lifetime of invisible permission slips. We wait for bosses, partners, bank accounts, or zodiac signs to tell us yes before we dare to want. Think about it. How many ideas have you shelved because it's not the right time? How many dreams feel like they belong to someone smarter, braver, or luckier? We've been conditioned to treat desire like a guilty pleasure, a slice of cake we have to earn. But what if wanting isn't selfish? What if it's the most honest conversation you can have with yourself? Let's dismantle the myths. Myth 1. Your desires are trivial. As kids, yes, our cravings were comically misguided. R.I.P. goldfish crackers flushed down the toilet to see the ocean. But adult desires aren't random, they're clues. That itch to start a podcast, pivot careers, or finally set boundaries isn't immaturity, it's intuition. Your wants evolve as you do. They're not reckless, they're reports from the front lines of your soul. Myth 2. Someone else owns the keys. We act like life's opportunities are locked in a glass case labeled "break in case of credentials." But most doors aren't even locked, they're just heavy. The job you want, the life you crave, they're not reserved for chosen ones. They're waiting for whoever's audacious enough to turn the knob. Picasso didn't ask if cubism was allowed. Marie Curie didn't wait for a permission slip to study radioactivity. They just reached. Myth 3. Tradition knows best. Human history is a graveyard of "that's just not how it's done." For centuries, people thought trains would make women's uteruses fly out. Seriously. The status quo isn't wisdom, it's inertia. Every revolution, from art to civil rights, began with someone ignoring the rulebook. The reason your idea feels radical? Good. Radical means root. It's buried deep for a reason. Myth 4. Waiting makes you wise. Patience is a virtue, until it's a trap. We've conflated sensible planning with eternal postponement. But time isn't a neutral party. It's a thief. That project, that conversation, that leap of faith, they won't magically become safer next year. The right time is a fairy tale. The only real time is now, messy and imperfect. Here's the uncomfortable truth. No one is coming to validate you. Not your parents, not the universe, not a flock of divine birds, looking at you, ancient Romans. The gods won't send a thumbs-up emoji from the clouds, and that's not a flaw, it's freedom. Dostoevsky feared a godless world would spiral into chaos, but he missed the beauty. Everything is already permitted. You don't need a blessing to quit the job, write the poem, or leave the marriage. You don't need a cosmic hall pass to exist loudly. Yes, consequences exist. Yes, kindness matters. But living for others' approval is its own kind of violence, a slow suffocation of the self. The goal isn't to become a toddler again. Please don't lick the carpet. It's to reclaim the toddler's unshakable faith. I am allowed to want. So why do we still hesitate? Because permission feels safe. It's easier to blame the universe for our stagnation than to admit we're scared. But safety is an illusion. The cat you didn't adopt, the country you didn't move to, the love you didn't confess, those silences have consequences too. Regret is the tax we pay for waiting. This isn't a call to recklessness, it's a call to ownership. Wanting isn't the enemy, denial is. Every should I is a standoff between fear and authenticity. And while fear shouts, authenticity whispers, you already know. You want to know the secret of people who live my way? They didn't wait for a sign. They gave themselves permission to be human, to want, to falter, to try. The world didn't applaud them at first. Sometimes it never did. But they built their Rome anyway, brick by brick, without waiting for birds. So here's your invitation. Stop asking, start building. The only permission you need is your own.